Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the OC Hoop Show. This is the SoCal Final Edition and a CIF State Championship Edition. I'm Dan Albano, joined here once again by Steve Fryer. And Steve, before we begin this week, I just want to thank the viewers for their support during this winter season for us. This has been a new venture for us as we've tried to extend what we did on a gridiron show in the fall during football. So I think we've had a lot to talk about this winter in basketball, including we're going to have at least one team make it to the state championships this weekend in Sacramento. So I think it's been a fun basketball season, wouldn't you say, Fryer?
Yeah, it's been great. And and I like doing this with you, Dan, and I admire the fact that you drive all the way to Sonora every time to do this, because you're always in Sonora's gym. I can tell by the background.
Yes, I only wish I was that close all the time, because the regional playoffs, they took me to, I think I went to Westchester. I had an easy stop at Santa Ana for Mater Dei. Then I went out to Pasadena, and then I went out to Chatsworth to see Sierra Canyon. So I put into some miles last week in the regional playoffs. So much exciting basketball going on. But
are you going to San Pedro tomorrow?
And I'll be at San Pedro as well. At least no San Diego so far, no Inland Empire, but I've hit some other spots. But you got a really good game coming up on Tuesday. Speaking of schedules, in Division II, it's an all Orange County matchup. One of these teams will be playing in the state finals. I believe that will be Saturday, 4:00 at the Golden One downtown arena in Sacramento. Tell us all about this big game coming up on Tuesday for you, boys basketball, SoCal Final.
Yeah, it's a rematch. These teams played each other on January 7th at the BSN Showcase at Pacifica Christian. Pacifica Christian won that game 54-53, but Orange Lutheran was not with their sophomore 6'7" guy who's such a big guy for them in the paint, blocking shots, scoring buckets. John Gazaniga, 6'7" sophomore. He was at a quarterback camp in Texas that day, but he will be on hand Tuesday for this rematch. He is a big part of what OLU does. So that's something that Pacific Christians contend with. But Pacific Christians got guys too. Parker Strauss, excellent guard, going to Northwestern. EJ Spillman's been really good for them. Alex Stewart, Tanner Sarge Deal, his nickname is Sarge, and you gotta respect the guy who earned the nickname Sarge somehow. And then OLU, Zion Paleo scored 18 points the other day. Wasn't very good when they played Tesoro in the Southern Section Championship game at Edison back on February 25. He was like 2 for 14 or something really bad. But in the regionals, Zion's been their best player, as he has been through much of the season. And then, they've got so many other good players over there too. Cannon Potter's been their best defensive player. Guarded Carson Brown, the really good player at Tesoro, held him to 11 points. Just did a wonderful job with him. You got Andrew Nagy, number 22, comes off the bench for Orange Lutheran. He's just a tough guy. As soon as he gets on the court, man, that guy's going 100 miles an hour. He gets a lot of the rebounds, takes charges, blocks shots, will get you some inside buckets over there. Javon Smith, a guard, has been playing really well for them. Dang, it's a well-rounded team. Paleo's their guy. He makes them go. But there's other guys that can do it for them. Pacific Christian, same thing. Nobody's scoring like 20 points on that team. It's always maybe Parker Strauss with 10 or 11, Stewart with 10 or 11, Spillman with, 10 points, 11 points, 6, 7 rebounds, that sort of thing. So a lot of different guys in this game can play. And, it's going to be one of those games, Dan. I think there's a guy, about Paleo, about Parker Strauss. You're looking for them to have a big game. Probably going to be somebody, maybe, David Minea at Orange Lutheran was great a couple games ago. It's going to be one of those games where there's going to be a guy who's going to have the game of his life, score 15, 18, 20. I think, who's it going to be? I'm going to find out on Tuesday over at Orange Lutheran.
Yeah, and that should be a rocking crowd, I would think, on Tuesday at Orange Lutheran, which can be a very loud gym.
Yeah.
That student section can spill pretty close to the playing floor. So they have to monitor that at Orange Lu. But I saw a great D2. It was a AA final there last year at Sage Hill
Yeah.
and Orange Lutheran girls. They filled that thing, and the crowd really cheered Orange Lutheran onto the victory. That was a great 2A
Yeah.
atmosphere. You're going to have a good atmosphere there tomorrow night.
I'm hoping so, but here's the thing. Orange Lutheran's on spring break this week.
Oh, okay. That's huge.
So
Okay.
so leave Disneyland early, get in your Rise of the Resistance visit, then head over to Olu to watch some ball, those kids over there.
Yeah. Oh, so, yeah. That will definitely affect the students. So should be a really good game. And then the winner is going to get on the NorCal final is also on Tuesday, and that's San Joaquin Memorial against Vanden. Those are the two NorCal teams playing. So the winner is going to be headed up to Sacramento later this week for that one.
Yeah.
And then we got an underdog story on the girls' side, Steve.
Sheesh, you got to tell me about this freshman over at Marina. 30 points the other day, 20 in the second half. Tell me about, and you and I have talked, off camera and off, just talking about the development of girls basketball players. They're coming in as freshmen. They are ready to rock and roll. Tell me about Riley over at Marina.
Yeah, Riley Bradley is a good freshman guard, 5'4", 5-ish girl, and she's scoring some points, and she's an interesting case for Marina. She's a local girl, came up as wanted to stay in Huntington Beach, go to her local high school, and she earned her starting job. She only got it midway through the year, but as much as she scores, this is really a story about a team that's really rebounded and improved a lot this year. And they're heavily senior dominated, which you and I both know is big this time of year. They have 10 seniors headed to San Pedro on Tuesday to take on the Pirates. And, Marina is the number 8 seed in this Division 5 SoCal bracket. And last year they were 6-20, Steve, and didn't make the playoffs, went 0-6 in the Wave League. But one thing we also know too is about some of these leagues that have the 2-tier systems. Always interesting to watch because it means a couple things. They're going to be playing up. The Wave League's the bottom, and they're going to be playing up against competition in the Surf League. They're going to get good leagues. Marina doesn't have they missed the playoffs at least 3 years in a row where they really struggled with 3 consecutive losing seasons. So if they qualify out of a solid league, they're going to maybe be in a favorable playoff division. And that's what's happened. They got in, but they've really surprised. They were the 10th. They were ranked 10th in the final Division 5 AA poll, and they got all the way to the semis, and they lost by 1 point to Gar, and that's how they made the state. And then the state, they were the 8th seed, and here they are in the SoCal finals. So they had to put in a lot of work, Steve, in the offseason, committed themselves. They got challenged by their coaching staff. Danny Roussel is an experienced coach in his 5th year at Marina, challenged the girls to improve in the offseason, hitting the weight room, obviously hitting the gym. And a cast of some pretty good seniors. Tiana Tu is their point guard senior. They got wings Kim Nguyen and Mia Grasse. And then Kim is a senior. Interesting enough, she's back from an ankle injuries that cost her most of last year. They have a center in Rihanna, 5'8". They're an undersized squad that likes to play some defense. So I think they'll give it a good go against San Pedro, who got a lot of pride up in that school. Been around for more than 100 years, and they've never made it to state either. And they're the Division 2 champion out of the LA City section. They won a tight game in their final as well. They have a core group of 3 juniors that are all scoring in double digits. So Marina's defense is going to be good, be important. They like to press. They like to play man in the half court. So we'll see what they can generate on that one. But that's going to be quite a good game. You got the number 2 Pirates and the number 8 Vikings.
Well, Marina, do it for a guy named Larry Doyle. Now, if you've been around a little bit, Larry Doyle's athletic director over there, assistant coach like every sport, great guy, huge advocate for Marina athletics. He was kind of known as a guy who didn't want the public schools and private schools in the same leagues or anything like that. He was quite a stickler for that. He was a great guy. I love him. I miss him a lot. So that's what's going on this week in basketball, Dan. I'm going up to Sacramento and going to be watching at least one county team, because Pacifica Christian versus Olu. They're definitely going to Sacramento to play on Saturday at 4 o'clock. I think there'll be some local TV on that. On Spectrum, I believe, has the contract on that, the exclusivity on that. So we'll see what's going on. Anything in girls basketball, Marina got in Division 5, and that gives them a chance. Good athletes at Marina in a variety of sport. Any team that you thought was going to get further than they did, but didn't get as far, you know what I'm talking about? Any team like that, Dan?
We had some really good teams that made deep postseason runs on girls' side. Yeah. I kind of thought Orange Lutheran had a chance in Division 1 to maybe make it to that final. They got tripped up on Saturday against Del Norte, who got pretty hot down in San Diego. Lost a pretty tight game, but they made a really good run. The county's two best teams were in the open division, Mater Dei and Sage Hill. So you knew that they were going to be limited, but they both made it to, they both, made the open playoffs, and congrats to them. I saw Mater Dei lose to maybe the eventual state champion, national champion, Sierra Canyon on Saturday. And you mentioned, Sarge Deal, I got to see his sister play a lot at Mater Dei, Addison Deal.
Addie Deal, yeah.
Sophomore, really coming on, and she's going to be a player that we're going to hear. Orange County basketball is going to hear a lot more, I think, about Addie Deal. I think Mater Dei, Sage Hill, they're not going anywhere. Obviously Sage is going to bring everybody back in their starting 5, and I think Mater Dei graduates 2 senior starters, but they were a deep team, and they might be better potentially, as much as they're losing a really good senior leader, point guard, and Kaya. Those are big shoes to fill.
Right.
Hannah's another college bound senior going to Concordia, but I think Mater Dei potentially could be better next year. So yeah, it was a really good girls season last year.
Question for you.
Yeah, go for it.
Sierra Canyon's Juju Watkins. I saw her play. I was like, wow. What do you got on Juju Watkins? What's your assessment?
Yeah, she's the best girl player I've seen in about the 6-7 years I've been on, heavy on the girls basketball beat. And I got on the OC Varsity YouTube page, right after you watch this video, go look for the highlights of Juju Watkins, number 1 player in the country, playing against Mater Dei. And she's just a complete player, Steve, because she's about 6'2", 6'3", and she's very long. She's in great physical condition. She can drive. She can pass. She's a great defender, great rebounder. She can do it all. She's really going to boost USC. It's going to be interesting, who comes along with the ride for her. But right now, she's got her hands full with, Etiwanda on Tuesday in the SoCal Regional Final. Etiwanda's a tough team, and that's the big one. And then you'll see Sierra Canyon or Etiwanda back at the up there at Sacramento. In the open division.
I want to see Juju Watkins play again. She reminds me of a little bit. And you and I talked about this morning. I think one of the best players that I've seen so many good players. Oh my goodness, I could talk about Brea players for a long time. But Kalina Mosqueda Lewis at Mater Dei 10 whatever years ago it was fantastic. And then Juju Watkins reminds me in some ways, although she's quicker, I think Katie Lou Samuelson at Mater Dei. I think she's sort of like that as far as like an all-around scorer, can do a lot of things. Maybe Lou is a little bit better outside shooter, Katie Lou, but Juju reminds me quite a bit of Lou Samuelson, Katie Lou.
Yeah, they're just. I think Juju is a ball dominated. The ball's in her hand. She's a true point guard. She's going to be handling it. She's a high usage girl that way, with the ball in her hands. I think Katie Lou played off on the wing more, but did show some good handles. But I think Juju's going to have, she can play off the, she's going to bring it up. She's going to run that fast break. But you can give her some breaks, and
she's a 5-position player.
She is. She's a very, that's the thing. She rebounds so well, and she can
block shots.
Very good, very good shot blocker. She's aggressive. She plays physical.
Smart.
Yeah, smart. She's the full package player. So
basketball genius.
She's number 1 for a reason. She might end up being the national player of the year.
Yeah, Max Prep's already picked that.
Yeah, so she's picking up some awards, and Yeah, and I think she's really come a long way because I did cover her freshman year when she was at Windward, and Mater Dei beat Windward in the Open Division section final that year. So I did get to talk to Coach Kiernan at Mater Dei before they played Juju again on Saturday. He actually, no surprise, and he looked back at that tape and he was trying to pick up anything he could from her freshman year, but he said she's improved so much. And the first thing he mentioned was her amazing physical condition. And
Oh,
when you see her, she probably looks like her physical condition and how she does not seem to get tired.
no.
Really. She got some breaks on Saturday, short ones, but Coach Kernan said she didn't need them. But you'll be
Yeah.
impressed if you see her on Saturday on, just her how
Yeah.
hard she's working on her physical condition. You can
I
tell.
saw her, I've seen her play on TV and in person. And she's so everybody's like, when you're running her, she's she's got her mouth closed the whole time. She's not huffing and puffing, she's not gasping. I go, this kid's a maniac.
Yeah,
What the
I
heck?
I wonder what she could probably. I mean, she could probably run a good maybe 800 meters. I don't know if she's maybe a mile. Back in my playing
Hurdler.
back in my playing days, we did have a time mile for basketball. I bet you she could
Yes.
run. I bet she could beat a lot of boys in some on a good track. I bet.
Yeah. Yeah. She could probably run a mile with hurdles in 3:59.
I bet you she could. Yeah, because I don't think those. I mean, yeah, those. I don't think those hurdles stand much of a chance
No.
for Juju.
Nah, that
There's a lot of
long-legged kid,
you
jeepers.
got to give her some technique a little bit. I bet you she's a fast learner and she could pick up
Ah,
that
she
technique. But
automatic.
she's a ball athlete. You got to give her the basketball. I don't think you're going to get her anywhere near the track.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Although I like multi-sport kids, and
Yeah,
so do the colleges. The colleges like multi-sport kids.
yeah,
America, they like them. All
yeah.
right,
But
Dan. Anything else shaking?
well, you just can't you can't risk any ankle injuries for a basketball girl doing hurdles. So, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah,
But yeah, have a safe trip up there and have a fun trip of all that great basketball. You'll enjoy the downtown arena, and
yeah. I've been there. It's cool.
we'll see what kind of it'll be interesting what the fan support is for those NorCal teams. They'll have some of their cheerleaders and bands in
Yeah,
there, which will I don't know what kind of contingent OC teams will have up there if it's one or two, but yeah, enjoy all that. We'll see what Centennial Corona or Harvard Westlake boys in the Open from the Southern section could be pretty interesting. In that the boys Open final. That's probably the last game on Saturday night, I think.
yeah, it is. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got 12 basketball games to watch. Yes.
Yes,
Steve
there
Marina
you go.
like it. All
Okay,
right,
guys.
baby. That's it for me.
Hey,
What are we doing
thank
next
you.
week? Are we doing baseball next week and softball?
Maybe next week or the week after, and
All right.
we'll be back. And thanks again, everybody, for joining us here on the OC Hoop Show.
All right. Keep on rocking, everybody. Thanks on behalf of myself and Dan, and we'll see you courtside.